हेलो। हेलो। Hello, voice is not visible, sir.
also in the same category. So what you do, you can say that W is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 D plus error term. So here this D is known as dummy variable. What is the average wage for male? Expectation of wage for male. So what this is the value, for example, suppose you estimate when the value is equal to 40 plus 8.53 D, and this is the standard error. R square is equal to 0.86. Suppose these are the results. Now what you are interested in the expected wage of male. So what we will do, this is equal to 40 plus 8.53. Male D is equal to 1. So you can write that this is equal to 48.5. What is the expected wage for female? This is equal to 40 plus 8.53 and female D is equal to 0. So what we will say, on an average, females get only 40 rupees while male is getting 48.53. So this way you can use dummy variable in order to study the wage discrimination among male and female. Now, really, whether there is a wage discrimination or not, that depends on whether this coefficient is significant or not. And this coefficient is significant means null hypothesis. What we will assume? We will assume that beta 1 is equal to 0, means no wage discrimination. Alternate hypothesis will be equal to beta 1 not equal to 0. So we will put t value will be equal to beta 1 divided by standard error of beta 1. So this divided by this, you will get t value, and you will find that the t value is around 4, highly significant. So you can say, yes, there is a wage discrimination. So this is, and if this is insignificant, we will say there is no wage discrimination. Now this is a very simple application of dummy variable where we are assuming one variable only gender. But sometimes we know that it is very difficult to explain the wage discrimination just on the basis of one variable. So you can add some more variable. Wage rate is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1D plus one more dummy. One dummy, gender, other dummy we can use for the location or the area of the resident. So D2 plus error term. What I am assuming here, D1 is equal to 1 for male, 0 otherwise. D2 is equal to 1 for urban, 0 otherwise. रूरल एरियाज में है तो वेज का डिस्क्रिमिनेशन कितना है, अर्बन एरिया में है तो वेज का डिस्क्रिमिनेशन कितना है. हमने क्या किया, एक डमी और ऐड कर लिया. एक डमी
You are not audible and visible to us.
rural female is different, the wage rate of the rural female is different from the rural male or not. So you can do the interaction part, and that interaction can be done by this way. W is not only one, but we are interacting. Interaction between D1 and D2. What is the impact of interaction of D1 and D2 on the W? Clear? Now, you want three independent variables, D1, D2, and third one is D1, D3, D2. The another variable is D1. So multiply these two, you will get this, multiply this, you will get this, multiply this, and so on. So you can regress wage rate on these three variables. Now, if this is a significant, beta 3 is significant, we will say not only the male and female, but their location is also important in deciding the wage rates. Their location is also important. So you can say that what is the expected wage if he is male and belongs to the urban areas? What is the expected wage if he belongs to male category and urban area? What will happen? Okay, this is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1, D is equal to 1, plus beta 2, D2 equal to 0, plus beta 3, D1, D2. D1, D2, what will happen? D1 is equal to 1. And D2 is what? The urban area. Urban area is also 1. So 1 into 1. What will happen? Beta 0 plus beta 1 plus beta, no, plus beta 3. This will be the expected wage of male if he belongs to the urban areas. Similarly, you can work out expected wage of male if he belongs to the rural areas. If he belongs to the rural area, what will happen? This will become 0. 1 multiplied by the 0 will 0. So what will be the wage? Beta 0 plus beta 1. Similarly, you can work out the expected wage of the female if he's from the rural area or from the urban area. So this way, there is a lot of application of dummy variable. Now, error term, the assumptions are the same. Inclusion of the dummy variable will not affect the assumptions of the U. Assumption of the U is what? Expected value of U is equal to 0. Expected value of Ui Uj is equal to 0. Expected value of Ui square constant homoscedasticity and expected value of U with respect to different x, that is D, is equal to 0. We are assuming the same assumptions. Clear? But dummy variable will not affect the distribution of the error term. This is our assumption. But there is a possibility of dummy trap. There is a possibility of dummy trap. When dummy trap? If you have two categories of the variable, male and female, use one dummy. If you have 3 categories, use 2 dummies. If you have 4 categories, use 3. Means number of dummies will be equal to number of categories minus 1. Number of categories minus 1. For example, male and female, 2 categories, we have used 1 dummy. Urban and rural, we have used 1. Clear? Now, suppose you want to categorize the location on the basis of metro, urban, and rural areas. 3 categories. 3 category means you have to use 2 dummies. Just say 2 dummies means we will add D3, we will add D4. Now, if 3 categories and you are using 3-1, D5, यानी मेट्रो के लिए 1 लगा दिया, ये 0 0. मेट्रो नहीं है, अर्बन एरिया है 1 0. मेट्रो नहीं है, अर्बन भी नहीं है, रूरल है, ये कर दिया. If you will use the same number of dummies as the number of categories, what will happen? You will be in the dummy trap. Dummy trap means there will be a problem of multicollinearity, perfect multicollinearity, and estimation will not be possible. So you have to use how many dummies? Number of categories minus 1. Number of categories minus 1. For example, suppose you are interested in the behavior of sales across different seasons. Sales across different seasons. How many seasons? 4. How many dummies you should raise? 3. 4 minus 1, 3. If you use 4, 1. Now the question is, what will happen to the 4th season? So I'm just explaining this. Sales is a function of different seasons. And different season, I am adding 1, 2, and 3 seasons. So what I will write? Sales is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 D1 plus beta 2 D2 plus beta 3 D3 plus U. I am not using 4th one because number of seasons are 4, so we have to use 4 minus 1. Now what you want? What is the expected sales? Expected sales when you have rainy season. And here we are using D1 is a rainy, it will be 1, otherwise 0. So B B0 plus B1. This will be 0, this will be 0 because they are not there. And what is the expected value of sales when there is a summer? And this is a for summer. So what we will say? Beta 0 plus beta 2. D3 for winters. So expected value of sales when there is a winter. What will happen? Beta 0 plus beta 3. What will be the sales in the fourth season? Fourth season means D1 is equal to 0, D2 is equal to 0, D3 is equal to 0. So it will be only beta 3. So automatically you will get the other category or the last category just by putting D1, D2, D3 equal to 0. Now, because you are using econometrics, you will get some estimation, and the estimations are useful or not to test the significance of the coefficient. So if beta 1 is insignificant, what we will say, the first season, that is the rainy season, is not affecting the sales. If summer is, the coefficient is insignificant, we will say. And the third one, winter is significant, then we will say that only there is a possibility of increase or decrease in the sales because of the winter season. और अगर आप कंपनी के मैनेजर हो तो आप क्या करोगे? You will increase the salesmen in the winter or sales or in the summer. So it is better to withdraw the salesmen from the summer and the rainy season and put all the pressure in the summer season, so you will get the boost. All you can utilize this for analysis. Okay, so this way there is lot of application on the basis of certain. Even suppose you are interested in the saving of income and size of the family. Saving as a function of income and size of the family. But size of the family means exact number of size the family doesn't affect. It is the nuclear family or joint family that affect much more the saving behavior. So what we can do, even for the size of the nature of the family, we can put, if it is a nuclear, it is 1, otherwise 0. Nuclear or 0. Or suppose you want to test the impact of the culture of the family on the saving. Culture means religion, whether she is a Hindu or Muslim or Christian or Jain, any category. So what you can do, you can use dummy, and then you can also work out the interaction of that particular dummy with the size of the family or with the income of the family. Okay, so this way there is a lot of application of dummy variables, and the only thing that you have to use, number of dummies equal to number of categories minus 1. Even if you have quantitative variables, you can convert them into qualitative variables. For example, suppose you want to study the behavior of the voters. And behavior of the voters age per the age. So what we will say, whether he is a first time voter or whether it is a other voters. So first time voter you can say 1, otherwise 0. So you can, जो नए voters आ रहे हैं उनका behavior कैसा है, you can analyze by using dummy variables. I am giving you one very interesting example which is there in the Damodar Gujarati book. Damodar Gujarati, one example of using dummy variable on the Indian data. He has did this exercise all for Indian data, and Indian data, he took a different state data and work out the literacy rate. And what he's assuming that literacy rate, LR, is a function of gender, is a function of location, that is area, and then is a function of per capita income. Three variables decide the literacy rate of the state.
Sir, your voice is not coming.
So per capita income is a measurement variable you can put as X. Okay. Now, so with this one, what is there? This is the literacy rate figure. This is the gender data. This is the area data, and this is per capita income data. So you are regressing literacy rate on these three variables simultaneously, and you are getting the coefficient of beta 1, coefficient beta 2, and beta 3. Finally, he did the interaction variable, and that interaction variable is literacy rate is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 gender plus beta 2 area plus beta 3 per capita income plus beta 4 per capita income multiplied by the gender. Per capita income multiplied by the gender plus the error term. Means that particular state, what is the literacy rate if he belongs to Northeast? What will be the per capita, literacy rate? This interaction between what? Per capita income and gender. Per capita income is very high, but female, what will be the literacy rate? Per capita income is low, but for female, what will be the position? So you can get the interaction part, and through that interaction, the values like he estimated the values, and they are like this. final estimation, he has considered only gender, one dummy, and the interaction of gender with the per capita income. The income is high but male, what will be the literacy rate? Income is low but female, what will be the literacy rate? So you can work out on the basis of this. Your R square is very high and all the coefficients are significant. All the coefficients are significant. So this is the way you can use dummy variable and you can create your own model. Even if you have primary data, cross-sectional data, it is easy to use dummy variable. We also did a lot of exercise on the dummy variable and lot of exercise on time series modeling when we want to work out the growth rate, and for that there is a need for non-linear regression. So I am taking just introductory part of the non-linear, and then we will again use dummy variable in order to see what will be the impact. For example, suppose you want to analyze the growth rate of Indian economy, and you are taking growth rate from 1970 onwards. What you can we assume that the growth rate is constant? No, because there is a change in the policy, and the change of the policy means liberalization, LPG model. So we can have the dummy variable equal to 1 after 91, dummy variable equal to 0 before 91. What is the average growth rate before 90? What is the average growth rate after 91 when we opted the policy of LPG? Again, you can use what is the implication of growth after Modi government. So 2014 onward, 1, before that we can put 0. And in this way you can work out whether there is a constant growth or there is a shift in the growth rate or not. So before going for this type of analysis, I am coming to the non-linear, the second part of today's lecture, and that is the non-linear regression model. Classical linear regression model assumes that there must be a linear relationship between y, that is dependent variable, and independent variable. Then only we can OLS, original least squares method. If the relation is not linear, then again we don't have any technique for estimation. So you have to transform, or you have to convert your relationship into linear, then only you can use econometrics. Okay. So now there are two types of non-linear relation. There are two types of non-linear relation. One is linear in parameters. Linear in parameters, and second is non-linear in parameters. Non-linear in parameters. These are the two types of relation. So, example here, suppose you assume that y is a function of x. But the y is like this, beta 0 plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x1 square plus beta 3 x3 square x3 cube x1 cube plus ui. Only y is a function of x, but there are different polynomials of x. The power is 1. Here the power of the same x is square. Here power of the same x is cube. So what we are taking, we are observing that all betas are, that is, these are known as parameters. They are linear. Parameters are in the linear shape, but the variables are non-linear. Variables are non-linear, x1 square, x1 cube, and so on. So if you have this type of relationship, for example, suppose you want to estimate the average cost curve. This is the average cost curve. Here we are taking output, here we are taking average cost. And these are the scattered points. different scattered points. Now, if you use linear relationship, then what we will do, you will assume only this type of relation. That will become a specification bias. Or you may get this type of relation, again a specification bias. So if you think that the nature of the curve is not linear one, then you have to create a non-linear relation. And this is an example of non-linear relationship. So here the difference is what? Beta 0, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, they are all linear. Only variables are not linear, and when variables are not linear, just by substitution, you can convert non-linear relationship into linear relation. Non-linear relation into linear one just by substitution. And what we will substitute? X1 square is equal to let Z, Z1. X1 cube is equal to Z2. So what we are doing, y is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1, x1 plus beta 2, z1 plus beta 3, z2, and so on, plus u. Substitution, and what we will say, z1 is equal to x1 square, z2 is equal to x1 cube, like cubic function, cost function. So data, what is there? Data we have here, the y values, maybe average cost or total cost. And then we have output x1, x1 square, x1 cube. These are the data. What I am saying, that substitute this by Z1, substitute this by Z2. So regress y or x1, Z1 and Z2. Linear relationship, and coefficient of Z1 will be nothing but the coefficient of x1 square, coefficient of Z2 will be nothing but coefficient of x3, x cube. Now, whether do we have non-linear relation or not? So if somehow you find that these coefficients, the coefficient of this one or coefficient of Z2, they are insignificant, then you can confirm that it is a linear relation. And if they are significant, then you cannot use linear relation. It will create bias in the estimation. Okay. So this is one where what we are assuming? We are assuming that just by substitution we can convert non-linear relation into linear relation, and just by substitution we can easily apply OLS. But there are chances where the variables are not only the linear, even parameters are also non-linear. There we have not substitution but transformation of the model. Transformation of the model. And the simplest example is the semi-log function. In growth model, what we assume? We assume that for a period of time, growth rate is constant. It is not changing every year. So how to work out the constant growth rate? If you use GDP as a function of time, over a period of time, GDP is increasing, and you are using linear one, what you are assuming? You are assuming that the change is constant. Change, not the relative change. Absolute change is constant. But if you are interested in the relative change with the growth rate, then we cannot assume linear relationship. We have to assume like this. YT is the YT is our GDP. GDP current year is a function of time. And we are assuming compound growth rate. What we will say, YT is equal to Y0, 1 plus R to the power T. 1 plus R to the power T, compound interest formula, or you can say population growth formula, where YT is what? YT is the per capita income of different years, and T is the time period. For first year, we are putting T equal to 1. t equal to 1 for second year, t equal to 2 for third year, t equal to 3 and so on. What we are doing, we are to know what is the growth rate over a period of 5 years or a period of 10 years and so on. You are using this type of relationship. If you simply use this type of relation beta 0 plus beta 1 t, you are using linear one. और linear का मतलब है कि ये growth rate either ऐसे जाएगी या ऐसे जाएगी, constant नहीं है, increment है. Now suppose you want to estimate this one, what you have to do, transform the model. Log of yt is equal to log of y0 plus t times log of 1 plus r. दोनों साइड में log ले लें, ये log की कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है कि multiplication converts into plus sign. This is the plus sign, and the power है that comes to the first one. So you can say that this is a constant term. Y0 is the initial year income, and whatever may be the period of time, initial income will be the same. So I am putting this as a beta 0. Plus, this particular part is a constant because we are assuming constant growth. So I am putting this as a beta 1. So what is there? Beta 1 multiplied by t. So log y t is equal to beta 1 t. And here there will be an error term, और उस error term का nature कैसी हो गई? e to the power u. ये log में है, क्योंकि अपन यहाँ log ले रहे हैं, तो u और log of e is equal to 1, so that will become u. अगर आपने यहाँ प्लस u कर दिया तो log नहीं ले पाएंगे. Log is possible only when there is a multiplication. तो इसका मतलब आपको क्या करना है? Here, instead of regressing y on time, we have to regress log value of y over time. Log value of y over time. और उसमें जो ये coefficient आएगा beta 1, that beta 1 will reflect the growth rate which is equal to log of 1 plus r. Beta 1 is equal to log 1 plus r. लेकिन we are not interested in log 1 plus r, we are interested in the rate of growth. तो rate of growth निकालने के लिए क्या करेंगे? दोनों तरफ एंटी log लेंगे. एंटी log of beta 1 is equal to 1 plus r. Log का एंटी log लेंगे तो 1 plus r रह जाएगा. And r is equal to growth rate, तो क्या लिखेंगे हम? एंटी log of beta 1 minus 1. And if you multiply it by 100, you will get percentage change in the growth rate. Percentage change per annum. 10 साल का percentage नहीं है, every year. And what we are assuming for particular decade, this growth rate is constant. It is not changing every year. It is not changing every year. और दूसरा तरीका आप ये भी हो सकता है कि हर साल का परसेंटेज चेंज निकालें और जो परसेंटेज चेंज आ जाए उसका वापस एवरेज निकालें, यू विल गेट द सेम रिजल्ट. एवरी ईयर परसेंटेज चेंज कैसे निकालेंगे? y2 minus y1 upon y1 into 100. This is the first year's growth rate. Similarly, for second year's growth rate, y3 minus y2 upon y1 into 100. Sorry, y2 upon 100. साल का परसेंटेज चेंज निकालें और जितनी भी ये आ जाएंगी, ये पहले साल की ग्रोथ रेट है, ये दूसरे साल की ग्रोथ रेट है, इन सबको टोटल करें, एवरेज निकालें, then that is known as average growth rate. और वो हम इससे ये डायरेक्ट निकालते हैं. That is the best method because it gives the best fit line. It gives the best. ये beta 1 decide करेगा कि what is the nature of the growth rate. If somehow the coefficient of beta 1 is insignificant, हम क्या कहेंगे? There is no growth, insignificant. लगभग वही सिचुएशन बनी हुई है. अगर ये beta 1 नेगेटिव है, हम क्या कहेंगे? ग्रोथ बढ़ने की बजाय कम हो रही है. और अगर ये बीटा 1 ग्रेटर देन 0 है तो हम क्या कहेंगे, इकोनॉमी इज ग्रोइंग। तो बीटा 1 सिग्निफिकेंट है या नहीं, दैट विल डिसाइड व्हाट इज द नेचर ऑफ द ग्रोथ रेट। जैसे आफ्टर बैंकिंग रिपोर्ट वांट टू नो द परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट। तो नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट को अगर आप टाइम से रिग्रेस करोगे तो ये बीटा 1 क्या आ जाएगा, नेगेटिव, बिकॉज द नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट का जो रेशियो है कंटिन्यूसली डिक्लाइन कर रहा है। अब इसमें जो यू कैन मिक्स ए डमी वेरिएबल आल्सो ग्रोथ रेट, जैसे हमने कहा कि भाई जीडीपी इज ए फंक्शन ऑफ टाइम, और फिर पॉलिसी चेंज इज आल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। तो हम क्या कहेंगे, जीडीपी इज इक्वल टू, या यू कैन से log जीडीपी इज इक्वल टू बीटा 0 प्लस बीटा 1 टाइम प्लस बीटा 2 पॉलिसी। और आपने मोदी जी को कहा भाई मोदी जी के पॉलिसी के बाद चेंजेज आया है, तो हम क्या कहेंगे, पॉलिसी जी के हम डमी वेरिएबल यूज करेंगे, पॉलिसी डमी वेरिएबल, और 1 इक्वल टू 1 आफ्टर 2014, 0 अदरवाइज। तो आपके पास अगर डेटा 1991 से है तो 1991 से आप डेटा ले लें, जीडीपी ले लें, 1991 को 1 2 3 4 5 6 ले लें, और उसके बाद पॉलिसी का इम्प्लीकेशन देख लें, तो 2014 के बाद 1111 लगा लें, तो ये पता लग जाएगा कि ये जो ग्रोथ रेट है ये पहले ऐसी थी, अब बाद में ऐसी शिफ्ट हो रही। इसका मतलब इंटरसेप्ट चेंज हो रहा है। पॉलिसी की जगह हम जब 1 रखेंगे तो ग्रोथ किसके बराबर आ जाएगी, दिस प्लस दिस 1, बीटा 1 प्लस बीटा, यानी दो चीजें हो रही है, एक तो इंटरसेप्ट चेंज हो रहा है, बीटा 0 प्लस बीटा 2, यानी इंटरसेप्ट ये बीटा 0 है और अब शिफ्ट होकर बीटा 1 हो गया। और अगर ग्रोथ रेट डाउन हो रही है तो डमी कोएफिशिएंट क्या आ जाएगा, नेगेटिव आ जाएगा, तो ये नीचे की ओर शिफ्ट हो जाएगा। अब इसमें आप देख सकते हैं कि केवल पॉलिसी चेंज नहीं हुई है, बल्कि पॉलिसी का इम्प्लीकेशन आ रहा है, जो जो टाइम बढ़ेगा तो जो ग्रोथ को पुश मिलेगा, जो जो टाइम बढ़ेगा तो ग्रोथ का इम्पैक्ट बढ़ेगा, और इसीलिए तो 5 ट्रिलियन हो पाएंगे। तो ऐसे करने के लिए हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा, इंटरेक्शन निकालना पड़ेगा। तो बीटा 0 प्लस बीटा 1 3 प्लस बीटा 2 पॉलिसी मीन्स डमी वेरिएबल प्लस बीटा 3 डी मल्टीप्लाइड बाई टी, डमी वेरिएबल मल्टीप्लाइड बाई टाइम, यानी आपके पास ये वेरिएबल है जीडीपी का, जीडीपी है या टाइम है, ये डमी है पॉलिसी का, एंड डी मल्टीप्लाइड बाई टी, पॉलिसी का इम्पैक्ट, जो जो पॉलिसी पुरानी होती जाएगा उसका इम्पैक्ट आएगा। और इसको अगर आप देखेंगे तो टाइम 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 डमी ऑल 0 0 0 टिल 2014, और 14 के बाद 1 1 1, फिर इन दोनों का मल्टीप्लीकेशन 0 0 0 0, और यहाँ के बाद अगर ये 15 है 16 है, ये क्या हो जाएगा 15 16 17 एंड सो ऑन। तो ये आपको सिग्निफिकेंट है या नहीं ये पता लगाएगा कि पॉलिसी इज गिविंग रिजल्ट ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, नेगेटिव है इज गिविंग नेगेटिव रिजल्ट ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, पॉजिटिव है तो पॉजिटिव रिजल्ट दे रहा है, और ये सिग्निफिकेंस है या नहीं, दैट वी कैन डू, यू कैन डू लॉट ऑफ एक्सरसाइज विद द ग्रोथ रेट यूजिंग डमी वेरिएबल। So non-linear we are using by, we are assuming that incremental growth is not constant. Incremental is constant, simple linear. Growth is constant, you cannot use linear one, you have to use semi-log function. And very important example. Suppose you are interested in the elasticity. Suppose you are interested not in the marginal change, but you are interested in the elasticity coefficient, because in economics we believe in the relative change. So again, you cannot use linear one. And the famous, suppose demand function आपको estimate करना है, तो एक तो demand function ये हो सकता है, demand is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 p plus error term. दूसरा हो सकता है कि log demand is equal to beta 0 multiplied by p to the power beta 1. Sorry, d is equal to log बाद में निकालेंगे. D is equal to b0 p to the power b1 e to the power u. इसका log लेंगे तो log d is equal to log b0 plus beta 1 log p plus u. In this one, b1 is marginal change. But in this model, this b1 is elasticity coefficient, means relative change. What is the 1% change in price will lead to how much of the demand? हम क्या कहेंगे? The beta 1 is the relative change. 1% will lead to beta 1% change in the demand. Therefore, it is the elasticity coefficient. So simple, if you are using linear function, then demand estimation will not work. You have to take what is the relationship on the basis of your economic theory. So in demand, we know that for certain categories of commodities, the coefficient of demand, elasticity coefficient is constant. So what we should use? We should use non-linear relationship. And this non-linear relation, what we are doing, we are transforming the equation, not substitution. We are transforming the equation because this is the conversion of log, so transformation of the equation. And the famous work in the economics is Cobb-Douglas production function. Cobb-Douglas production function, Q is equal to A, L to the power alpha, K to the power beta, E to the power U. You cannot use linear relationship. Q is not a function of labor and capital. Because why it is not a linear one? Because we incorporate three laws of production: constant return to scale, diminishing return to scale, increasing. In linear, if you form a relationship, then only this one, marginal is declining or marginal is increasing. But the margin average is declining marginally. You cannot incorporate into linear one. So you have to go for this type of relationship. And here, this is a non-linear. So you can convert log Q is equal to log A plus alpha times log L plus beta times log K plus U. And what is this alpha and beta? Alpha and beta are the elasticity coefficient of output with respect to labor. Beta is the elasticity coefficient of output with respect to capital. Or yes, the properties of the Cobb-Douglas production function, alpha plus beta equal to 1 constant return to scale, greater than 1 increasing return to scale, less than 1 diminishing returns to scale. So lot of the relation parameter may be non-linear, then substitution is okay. Your parameter and variable both are in the non-linear form. You have to do the transformation. So indifference curve analysis, you cannot use linear relationship. Production function, you cannot use linear one. Cost function, you cannot use linear one. We have to use non-linear, and there are many substitution, and through substitution we can convert. For example, suppose you have this type of relation, y is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 upon x1. Means you are regressing y on the inverse values of x, not on the direct values of x, but inverse values of x. Phillips curve is a very good example of the application of this one, where the relationship is like this. Here what we are taking, unemployment rate, and here inflation. Inflation is a function of beta 0 plus beta 1 upon unemployment rate. This is the way, means you cannot directly regress this one, inverse of this relation. So linear, and use you can use dummy variable mixing with the non-linear, and that dummy variable you can use for various categories of the states: developed, underdeveloped, corruption, non-corruption, literate, illiterate, many examples of that. Yes? Yeah, बताएं. Yes? Pardon?
Very good. Thank you.
Question, please.
दिक्कत है तो ये है डेढ़ पे होगा डेढ़ पे आ गया डेढ़ पे होगा उनके होगा
Please question. Repeat your question. अच्छा. Okay, so we can go for tea break, and then we can have discussion on research. What is the research and how to do the research, all, and what are the misconceptions about research that we can discuss.
Learn how to calculate page rank using a tool called Getty, and we will also learn how to visualize network data. Here again, to install the computer, you can go to key.org, download a computer.
सर वहां से बोलेंगे सर सर कौन सी पीपीटी सर हाँ यही वाला रिसर्च पेपर रिसर्च फॉर्मेट हाँ यही है सर हाँ
So again, now it is the final or final of the show. And the title of your workshop is, please, title of your workshop is Econometrics in Research. We should know what is the meaning of the research first and what we do in the, what is requirement for the research, what is research that we will try to cover so that you can frame your research topic and all. So, this is the nature of the human being that we want to know how, when, why. Whenever there is an event, we want to know how, when, why, who, where, what. These are all questions, and we want to answer these questions related to event and all. Investigating the reason of the event is all research. Now, how to know the methods of knowledge? You can say there are non-scientific, tenacity, authority, institution, or scientific research. There are the ways you can acquire. Your head is saying that tomorrow is this one, we will believe because some authority is saying like this. Or some doctor says like this, then we will say it is some network problem is there. कई बार हमारे मन में आता है कि ये सही है और इसलिए इसको मान लेते हैं कि सही है कुछ बिकॉज ऑफ द ट्रेडिशन वी assume that it is clear or it is correct. We don't go for the investigation of that. For example, बिल्ली ने रास्ता काट लिया मतलब ठीक नहीं है और वो हमारा नॉलेज बन गया. But science सब रिसर्च है, it's a method of acquiring knowledge. What is that? It is the process of knowing new facts and verifying old ones by the application of scientific methods. That is the meaning of the scientific method of research. The process of knowing new facts or verifying the old one. That process, and what is the meaning of the scientific method? That anybody repeat that particular technique or process, get the same verification or validation is the most important part of the scientific section. I did some survey work in Indore, and then I observed that most people marry because they are in love. This is my observation. Difference in the behavior of male and female are just human behavior. Out of every 10 news, one is related to university nowadays. In newspaper, a lot of information or news about the. And what I did, I conducted a survey of all Hindi newspaper for 1 month and then work out what is the ratio related to the news of university. And then I observed that out of every 10 news, one news is related to university. Similarly, because of that Nirbhaya case, every time there is huge coverage of the rape cases in the newspaper. So I surveyed the all Hindi newspaper, complete universe of the Indore, and then work out the average for 1 month that out of every 10 news, one news is related to rape case. Whenever we to go to any community meeting, the general belief or discussion is that nowadays the cases of divorce is increasing. Judgment by the court, whenever any judge write a judgment in the court, he take the evidence of everyone, the opponent and the favor, and then on the basis of that he write the judgment. Judgment is also based on the complete facts. Whenever we go to the police for any inquiry, FIR, then police is supposed to submit a report on FIR to the court. Now my question is that all these observations, are they research or not? Can we treat this as a research or not? Be judgment by the judge or inquiry by the police report, because police is also collecting all information. आपसे भी बात करेगा, opponent से भी बात करेगा, आसपास की पेरीफेरी से भी बात करेगा और फिर रिपोर्ट सबमिट करेगा. तो क्या can we say that the report developed by the police for investigation of FIR, is it the research document or not? The court is giving the judgment, he is doing the review of literature, law में क्या है, दोनों तरह के पक्ष को सुन रहा है, evidences को सुन रहा है, तो can we say that the judgment of a court is a research document? डिवोर्स के केसेस के बारे में जनरल बिलीफ है, तो क्या हम मान लें कि एक रिसर्च है कि आजकल डिवोर्स के केसेस बढ़ रहे हैं? न्यूज के रिलेटेड तो मैंने कहा ने सर्वे किया, 1 महीने का एवरेज निकाला और एवरेज के बाद ये लिया, ऑल न्यूज पेपर्स लिए हैं. आर दे रिसर्च और नॉट? एनी अदर? इन सबको मैं अपनी रिसर्च मान लेना चाहिए या नहीं मान लेना चाहिए? Comment any. You can say yes, no, no problem. नहीं है? क्यों नहीं है? भाई मैंने सर्वे किया, एवरेज निकाला, डेटा कलेक्शन किया, पूरा सैंपल लिया और उसके बाद रेशियो निकाला, तो फिर रिसर्च क्यों नहीं है? और कोर्ट ने जजमेंट लिखा है और जजमेंट में पूरा एविडेंस लिया, रिव्यू ऑफ लिटरेचर किया, कोर्ट में लॉ में क्या एग्जिस्ट है, नया है. पुलिस इन्वेस्टिगेशन भी कई बार चक्कर लगा के रिपोर्ट सबमिट करता, फिर ये सब रिसर्च क्यों नहीं है? यस, कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं हुआ. भाई कंट्रीब्यूशन तो हुआ, मैंने कह दिया कि भाई न्यूज़पेपर आजकल इसलिए सरवाइव कर रहे हैं कि वो यूनिवर्सिटी की न्यूज पे डिपेंडेंट है. सोसाइटी में कुछ नहीं कर पा रहे. तो ये सब मेरी ऑब्जर्वेशन क्या है, ये इज अ पार्ट ऑफ द रिसर्च और इज नॉट एट ऑल ए पार्ट ऑफ द रिसर्च. वेरी गुड. अब सही बात आए हैं कि जस्ट दे आर द कलेक्शन ऑफ द डेटा, observations, and the observation can pose the research question. It is not research. So are the research findings? They are just observations. They are the facts. It may be the judgment, court के cases में. They are the research questions. It may be universal truth. कई सारी चीजें, honest is the best policy, no need for any. So what is research? Investigation of causes and then providing solution is the research. Two component of the research. First, it should have a question, and when you have a question, you should know what is the cause of the question. And if you are able to analyze the cause of the question, then you will be able to give submission or finding to the society. For example, why the university news is coming so frequently in the newspaper? Why rape case news is coming so frequently in the newspaper? So if you try to investigate the causes of the problem, then only it is useful, because through causes you will be able to give recommendation to resolve this or to solve that particular problem. So research question, solution, then only it will be a research question. If you just conduct a survey, compile the data and present that in a report, that will be treated as a survey work. Is a research, is a report. It is not a research document. Research document means you have to raise research question. And if you are able to raise research question, then only you will be able to provide solution to that particular problem. So providing solution to the problem is a research part. But unfortunately, whenever we go for PhD evaluation, many students conducted huge survey, wonderful compilation of data. Compilation of data, graph and everything is there. And then finally they give recommendations. And the recommendation is not derived from what the data is there. For example, Manrega is not doing well. Why? Because of the corruption. In throughout analysis, he has not analyzed the cause of the corruption, how corruption is affecting the Manrega, but he is submitting that because of the corruption, Manrega is not doing well. Now, everyone knows that there is a corruption. So then it is better to recommend that first remove the corruption and then only start Manrega. Or because of illiteracy, there is a problem. So it is better, so we should remove illiteracy and then we start any program. So you should derive recommendation only what you have analyzed in your thesis. This is very important. The research thus is not merely a collection of facts or data tabulation, graph बना लेना ये नहीं है, or presenting, but it is to analyze the causes behind research problem and concluding the suggestion for it. Causes or then give this one, and that's why in the new UGC regulation, now you have to submit what is the contribution to the society, how it will be helpful to the policy maker. These two components you have to aid in your thesis, then only it is acceptable. So it is the process of providing solution to the research problem or question. तो सबसे पहले आपके मन में कोई न कोई रिसर्च क्वेश्चन आना चाहिए. If you are not able to create the question, it will be very difficult. It's very interesting when I was working as a professor in the university, the student come for the PhD registration. Earlier there was no DET examination. So no DET examination, so all those who are getting good marks, they prefer to go for PhD and request. I made a general rule that it is better not to take girls for PhD. तो जब भी कोई लड़की पीएचडी के लिए आती मैं उनको ना कहता तो बोले नहीं सर हमारे तो घर में केवल टीचिंग और रिसर्च का ही माहौल है, एवरीवन इज इन्वॉल्व इन दिस वन और मुझे तो करनी है. तो मैं उनके पेरेंट्स को बुलवाता था कि भाई आप एक बार पेरेंट्स से मिलवा लीजिएगा, बिकॉज योर प्रायोरिटीज एंड पेरेंट्स प्रायोरिटीज आर डिफरेंट वन। तो भाई पीएचडी करनी है, टीचर कह रहा है तो क्या करें, तो दूसरे दिन पेरेंट्स को ले आती थी और पेरेंट्स कहते थे आप किसको पीएचडी करनी है और आप मदद करें। मैं उनसे एक प्रश्न पूछता था कि व्हाई यू वांट टू डू पीएचडी। पेरेंट्स को पूछता था क्यों कराना चाहते हैं। तो पेरेंट्स ये नहीं कहते थे कि इसलिए कराना चाहते, अच्छा बताइए सर क्या कराएं। यानी करने के लिए कुछ नहीं है इसलिए पीएचडी करना, दैट शुड नॉट बी द टारगेट ऑफ द पीएचडी। यू शुड बी फॉर्म। अब पेरेंट्स के मन में क्या है कि देयर इज सम गैप, और उस गैप के लिए कैसे एंगेज करें, इसलिए आप पीएचडी कर लो। और ऐसे कई सारे केसेस मैंने अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी में देखे हैं कि ऑलमोस्ट काम कंप्लीट होने वाला है, लड़की की शादी होती है और रिसर्च धरी रह जाती। टीचर की भी मेहनत गई और स्टूडेंट की मेहनत भी गई। इसलिए फॉर्म कर दिया है कि जब तक परफेक्ट डिटर्मिनेशन नहीं हो, इट इज बेटर नॉट टू टेक फॉर द रिसर्च। सेकेंड, अगर किसी तरह से कन्विंस हो जाते थे तो टीचर से स्टूडेंट आता बोलता था आप बताइए किस पे काम करें। तो मैं कहता था सर्च योर ऑन टॉपिक। बोले नहीं सर, टॉपिक आप बता दीजिए, रिसर्च हम करेंगे। यानी टीचर के टॉपिक पर स्टूडेंट वांट टू डू रिसर्च, वेरी डिफिकल्ट। यू हैव टू जनरेट योर, किसी टीचर के पास कोई रेडीमेड प्रॉब्लम नहीं है कि आपको दे देंगे और ये कर लो। यू हैव टू क्रिएट योर ऑन प्रॉब्लम। और दुनिया में जितनी भी बेस्ट रिसर्च हो रही है, नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ द प्रोफेसर्स, ऑल बेस्ट रिसर्च इज डन बाय द स्टूडेंट्स। प्रोफेसर का काम तो केवल लाइट दिखाना है कि एनालाइज फ्रॉम दिस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, एनालाइज फ्रॉम दिस एंगल और ट्राई टू डू दिस टाइप ऑफ एनालिसिस। जस्ट वी आर गाइडिंग, इश्यूज आर ऑल जनरेटेड बाय द स्टूडेंट्स। बस ये है कि प्रोफेसर की ये क्वालिटी है कि he can pick up the best students so that he can get a good work. But all research is done by the professor, by the student, and therefore the topic should be of the interest of the student. Now, how to generate the topic? कुछ मिसकंसेप्शन है कि हमने सर्वे करके रिपोर्ट सबमिट कर दिया इसलिए वो पीएचडी हो गया। नो, रिसर्च इज रिलेटेड टू, some लोग say that the research is all related to laboratory work. If you don't have a lab, you cannot do research. And unfortunately, in 2018-17, even government of India was thinking that there is no relevance of social science research. All grants in the social science research is stopped. There are many social science research institutions, they are not now working. After 2000, now the government is thinking that social science research are very important along with the scientific research, then only you will be able to improve the quality of life. So now the focus is what are the ways you are growing, but there are many problems and that problems is not resolving. So you are creating tensions in the society. As I said, in America, you will find lot of stress. Economic development is there, but stress is there. And because of the depression, the drugs related to depression are sold like anything in America. So what do you want? We want something which resolves how to reduce the social tension. So social research is very important, and now they have. And India is a wonderful laboratory for social research. All top of the world, India, they want to do for collaborative research. Why they want to go for the collaborative research? Because India is a huge, wonderful varieties of caste, varieties of culture, varieties of race, all. And in spite of that, all one is very happy how to do that research. So the foreign professor want to collaborate with the Indian professor so that they can get the data, they can get the information, and then they can create a wonderful research in the social sciences. Common flaws in the methodology, establish the reason for the research. Why you are doing research? One student wrote very what are the objectives of the research? He said to complete the MPhil degree. MPhil is your definitely objective, but this is not the objective of the research. So you have to define the objectives of the research, provide clear and concise objectives, complete reference to the prior. How to create a research question? What are the ways of creating research question? Discuss with the professors, discuss with your colleagues, go to the review of literature, and through review of literature, you will be able to create certain research questions. First and foremost important task for the research is create a research question. If you are not able to create a research question, you cannot do the research because you will not be able to organize your research without research question. If you have the research question, then what are the data required, what are the ways of solving, all to define only when you are clear-cut research question. Many a times we select the topic, then the boy is diverted to some other task. Sometimes competitive examination, sometimes something else. And then without proper planning, after 2 years or 3 years, he goes for collection of data. And collection of data, primary data means huge size of the questionnaire. I don't know whether again we will be able to go to the field or not. So it is better take this information also, take this information, take this a huge copy of the questionnaire. Now, remember, bigger the size of the questionnaire, poorer is the quality of data. Inverse relationship between these two. More the questions, no one has the time to answer your question. No one has time. कितना भी परिचित आपका होगा, कुछ क्वेश्चन के जवाब देंगे, उसके बाद कहेंगे भाई और कितने पूछोगे. So you have to be very clear which type of information is required for your work, and that is only possible when you go for the review of literature, you create a proper question, you create a proper objectives, then only you will be able to do this. Without doing all this, if you go for the survey, the quality of data will be very poor. And when you go for analysis of such data, you will find that lot of problems are there. Yeah, some error is there, some interpretation is difficult to get this information, huge type of problem. And without understanding the conceptual part of the problem, if you again conduct a research or survey, you will not be able to finalize. Selection of analytical and structural model for mere empirical convenience. Everything is clear, but just to show some sophistication, we are doing some empirical that is also not proper in the research. Presenting conclusions that are merely restatement of analytical findings, 10% growth है या 5% growth है या this is the average. What is the meaning of that? That is all important in the research. Scientific research मैंने आपसे बताया है. Scientific research is the process of inquiry in which question is posed about the physical world. Develop a set of procedure using rational process that, if followed, would convincingly answer the question. Plan to make appropriate empirical observations. Rationally interpret the empirical observations to arrive at a conclusion. Object or purpose, unknown facts, mysteries को करना. Now, this is a big problem before the world, that major challenge of living in high carbon economy and a sustainable society. What to do? Carbon emission is increasing because of industrialization and all these things. And because of that, there is a change in the climate. What to do? So what to do we need to do? Change hearts, लोगों के दिल बदल दें. Is it enough? Change mind. Is it enough? Change behavior. How? This is the question. By You have to live in a high carbon economy, so you have to change yourself. So what is the change? Create a social change, and how all are this link, all that is a part of the research. What the miracle social research did. The miracle social research did is acceptability of smoking has changed. अब पब्लिक में कोई हिम्मत नहीं करता है, all because of the social research. Wearing of seat belt, all this is the impact of the use of recycled water for gardens and lawns, all is the impact of the research. Some have changed broadly across the community and others have changed differently between the groups, all because of the change in the economy, because of the COVID and all this. Health conscious way of life because of COVID-19. अब तो हर चीज वो साबुन वाला भी निकालता है तो कहता है कि इम्यूनिटी पावर बढ़ जाएगा. Everything is related to immunity. Social distancing, all this is a part of the, is come all because of that. So if you summarize all these things, then get an idea. Not idea of Vodafone. Get an idea, question लाइए, review of literature. Second part, plan the study. And when you plan the study, you have to finalize what is your hypothesis, what is your variables, how do you measure the variables, and what is the sampling. And then conduct the survey. And after conducting the survey, analyze the data. Write a paper. Now it is all part of the PhD. Write a paper. Earlier days, there are many professors who have never wrote a paper. Research की estimation of model or law. There are certain laws in economics or in social sciences, and if you plan to verify or estimate this particular law, that will be treated as a research. For example, we have law of demand, and if you try to estimate the law of demand for food crops or law of demand for petroleum product, what is the impact of price, what is the income of income, what is the impact of the substitution effect, it will be treated as a research. की प्रॉब्लम मैसेज आ रहा है. Evaluation of government program or policy, that will also be treated as a research. Manrega is there. If you try to evaluate the Manrega program, what are the plus points, what are the negative, why it is not giving the result. And there are many programs. One program is known as, the earlier program of poverty removal was Integrated Rural Development Program. An Integrated Rural Development Program, the oldest one. What was the program? That program was how to bring the poor families above the poverty line. So they created a program known as self-employment program to pick up the person who is below bottom of the society, give them some credit and make the people better off. Pradhan Mantri Swan Rozgar Yojana, now they have changed into this one. But still it is not helping them. Poverty ratio is almost remain the same. What the reason? That this particular program, IRDP, is not very conducive to the poor families. For self-employment, what is required? Risk-bearing capacity is required, that the person should be able to have risk-bearing capacity. Suppose if your business is not giving result for 1 month or 2 months, he should be able to eat his food. But you are picking a person who is bottom of the society. He doesn't have the risk-bearing capacity. He doesn't have the means to support family for the next day. And you are asking him, be an entrepreneur, we are giving you the credit, do this business, so that will not result in all that credit was lost and he was not able to generate enough income. So evaluation of that program, why it is a fail, analyze the reason, then only it will be treated as a reason. Establishment of certain relationship for prediction. You want to predict what will be the impact of climate change in 2040 or 2015, then it will be treated as research. Identification of causes. There are many social problems. You try to identify the causes that will become a research. Estimation of certain issues of the society. There are many issues of the society like divorce cases increasing, gender biasness in the there. इसलिए सरकार को बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ आंदोलन बनाना पड़ा. So if you try to establish the success or failure of these programs, it will be treated as a midday meal program, universal or primary education. So we teach students to know economics, but we rarely teach them how to do economics. So how to do economics, if you emphasize, that will be also a part of the research. Criteria of good research क्या होना चाहिए? It should be original, not repetitive. उनका केस आया और उसको थोड़ा सा modify करके आपने present कर दिया. पहले तो संभव था आपसे because of the plagiarism and all this, and now your thesis is in the public domain. जो ये आप submit करेंगे आपकी, it will be on the website of the UGC and all. So you have to be very careful. पुराना नहीं था तो कई सारे वाइस चांसलर की जॉब चली गई, all because of their plagiarism and all. So this is very important that it should be original. It should eliminate the possibility of duplication. Repetitive work नहीं होना चाहिए कि किसी और का हुआ और उसको नए फॉर्मेट में रख दिया. It will not be accepted. It should give valuable information on the merits and demerits of various research techniques. If your topic is giving certain new techniques or highlighting the weakness of the earlier technique, it will be also treated as research. It should enrich his knowledge about the concept and terminology in the area of his specialization, something addition. It should neither be very specific and not very general. बहुत specific नहीं होना चाहिए और बहुत general भी नहीं होना चाहिए. These are the good qualities of research. Step in the research. सर्च फॉर एन आइडिया. कई बार लड़का आता है रिसर्च के लिए आइडिया, सब बिल्कुल ये इनोवेटिव आइडिया आज तक किसी ने काम नहीं किया. कोई रिव्यू ऑफ लिटरेचर नहीं है, कोई जर्नल नहीं, कोई नहीं है, बस मेरे ये आया आइडिया कहाँ है, ये तो प्रोसेस बताओ, एंड दैट प्रोसेस विल जनरेट ऑटोमेटिकली रिव्यू ऑफ लिटरेचर. और इसलिए माई सबमिशन इज कि व्हेनेवर यू वांट टू select any topic for the research, at least select five articles. Nowadays Google is there, you can easily. हमारे समय में तो हमारे प्रोफेसर एक दरी बिछा देते थे और सामने 10-20 जर्नल रख देते, बोले ढूंढो इसमें से क्या निकल के आ रहा है. And then you should ask your student to read these 5 papers from 3 point of view. ये जो पेपर है ये किसके, you have to read from 3 angles. Why this professor did this research? It is because he wants to go to Malaysia. अब तो कम हो गया, 2 साल पहले कोई इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस आता और कोई टीचर आ जाता, सर इस पे एक टॉपिक रिसर्च करना है क्योंकि वहाँ इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस है. दिस इज नॉट द वे टू डू द रिसर्च. तो पहला पार्ट क्या करें, try to read that particular why this professor wrote this research, did this. And second, how he did his research. कैसे किया. और थर्ड चीज क्या निकाले, what are the findings, what are his conclusion. If you can analyze any particular research paper from these 3 points of view, definitely you will be a wonderful researcher. Why, how, and what. These are the 3 answers, and that is all the review of literature is. Poor network is all. और इसलिए for good research you should have a wonderful interaction with your guide. You should have a good collaboration with your colleagues, student, fellow student. Discussion. If you are not able to discuss with your guide, if you are not able to discuss with your friend, then you cannot be a good researcher. Impossible. Isolation, you cannot do the research. Good collaboration, good discussion, and good presentation skill is very important. Talking and asking to other research students can be a crucial, very important. Idea can be understood by other people not working in the field. then you are on the right track. People is useful to comment, criticize and transform your original idea. दो important बात है साइंस और सोशल साइंसेज की रिसर्च में. One should be very. If you are doing some research in science and it can be understood by any layman, it is not a good research. And in social science, you are doing research, and if the layman is not able to understand your research, it will not be able to treat it as a good research. Social science, everyone has a right to understand your research. So make it so simple presentation or submission that even layman can understand the findings of your research, then it will be treated as good research. A problem well defined is half solved. So if you are able to generate a proper research question, you are on the right track and you will be able to complete your task within the given work. The formulation of the problem is often more essential than its solution. Einstein. How the problem is framed determines what solution is obtained. The research problem divides subsequent stages of research process. Proper problem definition ensures that the research results will meet decision makers' objectives. So, selection of the topic is very important. So now one very good example is there. There are two things. One is symptoms and other is problem. And sometimes we assume symptom is the problem of the company or the person. So you have to isolate what is the symptoms and what is the problem. And for that, I'm giving you one example. One neighborhood, they have the old swimming pool, and that owner of the swimming pool is in the trouble that nowadays the membership of the swimming pool is reducing. And so he came to the consultant to know what are the reason why I'm losing my clients. So losing client is a symptoms, is not the solution to the problem. So you can investigate the neighborhood other, the swimming pool, there the client is increasing, their business is increasing. You are losing, but the other is getting business. So what the reason? So if you try to analyze, you will find because of the demographic change in the society, because of economic progress, now they want more fun in the swimming pool, and because of that, the swimming pool which have better facilities or other funds game, they are becoming more popular, and the traditional one is losing. Determine the unit of the analysis whenever you want to go, whether household, owner of the household, or the senior person of the household, or the female of the household, who is the owner, that you have to see. Competitors, companies, all. Determine the variables, relevant variable, which is there, categorical variable like dummy variable or continuous variable, dependent or independent variable, they are. So what are the cause and what is the effect that you have to identify on the basis of your objectives? Variable classification have implication for data analysis. So entire data analysis or econometric analysis, the classification of data is very important. A hypothesis is an unproven statement or guess about the nature of the relationship between the variable or possible solution to the problem. So formation of hypothesis is very important. Then only you will be able to know. Research question, then form the research objectives. And from research objectives, form the research hypothesis. And from research hypothesis, form the null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. Don't directly go for the null hypothesis because your objective will frame the research hypothesis. And 4 or 5 research hypotheses are enough for one project. You should not have many research hypotheses or many objectives, very specific what are the objectives, and complete concentration on these objectives, then only you will be able to reach a better conclusion. Literature review is very important in framing the research objective, research question, and review of literature on the 3 points. Read that particular paper, why, how, and what. If you are able to trace these three things in the research paper, then you are a wonderful reviewer कि इसने ये पेपर क्यों लिखा है, कैसे लिखा है, कैसे मीन्स क्या मेथोडोलॉजी है और क्या इसका कंक्लूजन है. अगर ये 3 चीजें आप आइडेंटिफाई करें, मीन्स यू आर ए वंडरफुल रिसर्चर. Basic, now different types of research is there, basic or pure research. Sometimes we can have a basic or pure research where we are contributing all new theory. And or we can have a applied or policy oriented research. There are certain policies and we want to assess or we want to frame certain policies, then that is known as policy related or applied research where theory is there. We are using that theory for the application purpose, then that is. So initially it will be difficult to go for a pure research or a basic research. It is better to go for applied or policy oriented research. Research methods. Quantitative methods are useful for describing social phenomena, especially on a large scale. The conflict between quantitative methods and qualitative methods. In quantification, it will be easy to precise your results. Huge number of phenomena. So if you are not able to do the quantification, you will not be able to arrive at a very specific or to the point answers. Qualitative methods allow social scientists to provide richer explanation, but you should have a base of qualitative research also. And if you have a qualitative research base, then you will be able to explain the reason for all these things. By using 2 or more approaches, researchers may be able to triangulate their findings and provide a more varied representation of social world. A combination of different methods are often used within comparative research, which involves the study of social process across nation states or different societies or countries. Steps in quantitative, structure, interview, statistical survey and question, structured observation, content analysis, secondary analysis, and quantitative marketing research. Now within in management, there is many marketing research and the system of online purchase and all this has created a social marketing that all companies have huge database on their customers. So their target advertisement is just on the customers, which are the target customer, how to convert that target customer into realities. So if you search any particular item on your mobile, next day you will get all advertisement related to this one. So means you are the potential customer. So their advertisement is how to convert this potential customer into the real customer. That is the whole target of the marketing research. These are the 2 very important concepts of the research one has to remember. Descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. And they are not competitive to each other. They are complementary to each other. So whenever you do the primary work, you have to present that in a tabulation form. You have to do some mean, mode, median, standard deviation calculation. Just tabulation is not enough. You have to do something. And on the basis of table, if you derive certain conclusion about the universe, that part is known as inferential statistics. So you must have 2 part of your thesis. One is descriptive, means what you have conducted, just present in the table form or describe that in a graphical method or something, that part is known as descriptive research, but descriptive research is not research. Descriptive means you are presenting facts in a tabular form or certain statistical tool. How to derive conclusion, generalize, or how to inform about the population, that part is known as inferential statistics, and 90% PhD students are concentrated on the descriptive part of the research. They don't do much on the inferential part. And in inferential part, you must have hypothesis, testing, you must have a correlation also. Many a times what the student do, that age is there, education is there, income is there, gender is there. So this is known as univariable description. You are categorizing your sample just on the basis of one variable, but that will not serve the purpose. You have to do analysis two-way or multiple way, cross-tabulation. Cross-tabulation means you should link age with the income of the person, age with the size of the family, or for example, suppose you have the test, and on the basis of test, suppose you are awarded certain marks. Then you have to analyze that which type of participants are scoring more marks and which are the type one. If you link two variables, then only you will be able to establish certain hypothesis, or you will be able to test that hypothesis. So two-way classification or multiple classification is more important. Just classification on the basis of one variable is not enough to derive or to test certain hypothesis. कुछ पता नहीं लगेगा. आपने बता दिया कि 10% इतने मार्क्स के हैं, 20% इतने मार्क्स के हैं, 30% of this marks, that will not serve. What is important? Those who are getting 10% marks, which are these students? Then only your policy will be able to frame that how to improve the quality of these students. So two-way classification is very important. पूरा का पूरा एक चार्ट है. Different types of data is there. Nominal data is there. The category data is there. Ratio variable is there. Quantitative, qualitative data. So all the statistical methods. So one part is the statistical method. Other part is inferential statistics, where you are using certain inferential tool in order to derive the conclusion. Now when you go for the descriptive analysis, mean, mode, median is important. So just table लगा दिया कि आप this is the age distribution and this is the frequency, that is not enough. Work out the mean. So mean, you will be able to say that the average size of the family is this much. So whenever you derive the conclusion, people will try to link this type of conclusion is related to which type of family. Then work out the standard deviation. Simple mean is not important, not enough. Standard deviation means what is the spread of your sample, whether most of the families are of the same size or of the different size, that we have to do. And the inferential statistics, we have t-test, z-test, ANOVA, and then correlation, regression coefficient, econometrics. All they are very important analysis. Now, when we go for inferential statistics, we have to decide the level of significance. At what percentage level of significance we are rejecting this hypothesis or we are accepting this hypothesis. And in the process of accepting or rejecting hypothesis, there is a possibility of committing certain error. And one is known as type 1 error, other is known as type 2 error. Should we conclude it? So, just 5 minutes. The level of significance is very important, and level of significance means 5% level of significance. That it means that there is a possibility that out of 100, 5% we are rejecting our correct hypothesis. And type 2 error is just opposite of that. Means the thing which is not accept. If you are accepting the true one, the wrong one, then you are committing type 2 error. So entire statistical inference, our effort is to minimize type 2 error. वो which is not done, वो accept नहीं हो जाए, that is the concept. And in this process, if true thing is missed, doesn't bother, and that you have to decide well before the analysis of your stages. So thank you so much, and this is the basic idea of the research, and you should have a research question before framing the research idea, the research project. Otherwise, you will not be able to organize your research in a systematic manner. So thanks to the organizers for giving me the opportunities. For last 5 days, we are discussing different models, techniques, and issues related to research. So thanks. Please, sir.
Good afternoon once again. First of all, I would like to welcome the special guest of today, the Registrar of the University, Shri Sunil Gupta ji, Professor Sunil Gupta ji. Resource person of the event, Professor Ganesh Kavadia ji, Dean of School of Business and Management Studies, Professor Anand of the department, Dr. Professor Ranjan Aneja ji, and other my colleagues and my dear friends. So I am here to talk about what we have done so far in last 1 week. The National Workshop, Econometrics for Research in Economics, IFRI 2022, started in 25 April 2022, and we are going to conclude it today. In this event of 1 week, we have tried to understand the basic understanding of econometrics aside, and simultaneously in the post-lunch session, we tried to practice it by using various softwares like Excel, Stata, and R. And I hope this workshop will definitely help all of us to shape our future research, whether it is academic research or research for other social or economic issues. So I would like to tell you all, and I'm very proud to tell you that more than 25 universities across the country, the students, research scholar, and the faculty members have participated. Namely, IIT Ropar, Central University of Himachal Pradesh, Central University of Rajasthan, Delhi University, Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Goa, Christ University, Pune, Christ University, Bangalore, University of Mysore, Dr. Hari Singh Gaur University, Sagar, Utkal University, Odisha, Kurukshetra University, MDU University, JGU University, Hisar, Tripura University, University of Sikkim. So we could gather all the universities and students across the India from north to south, east to west. And this itself suggests, underlines that definitely this workshop is successful. Here, I would also like to tell you that 125 artists were present in this workshop, and we have got these all registration on the paid basis. Now, I would like to request Professor Anand ji, our star Professor Sunil Gupta ji with the flower pot. Avinash, please. Flower pot, flower pot. हाँ ये pot. Now, I would like to request Dr. Ranjan ji to felicitate our resource person of the national workshop. He has been there with us for long 5 days in this very hot summer. May I call upon our registrar sir to address this assembly? Please come, sir.
आप सभी को मेरा प्रणाम। So let me take this great opportunity to share my bit experience among you all. As you all might have listened to the various experts during this workshop, which is being held and going to be concluded today. See, being a teacher and now the academic administrator, I witness this occasion with a very profound, a very, sincere attitude that these exercises which are being carried out by the Department of Economics and School of Commerce Management and other disciplines, I extend my thanks to Professor Anand Sharma ji, Dean, School of Business Management, Central University, Haryana. Then the workshop director, Professor Ranjan Aneja ji. Convener, Dr. Ajit Kumar Sahu ji. co-convener Dr. Rashmi Tamarji and Ms. Renuji, Assistant Professors, Department of Economics. I am very happy to see that these exercises have become the integral part of these academic institutions. And as far as disseminating knowledge in this present academic world is concerned, these are gaining lot of importance. And when we do practices and when we carry on such exercise, things becomes very easier to us. And Shri Mahatma Gandhi ji, the father of nation, narrated a very beautiful concept of 3H. You all might be well aware about the concept of 3H. And this concept of 3H is head on and heart on and ends on. So the first H of this concept defines the vision of a teacher and talks about the knowledge sharing ideas about solving a particular problem. Because we need to define our goal and we can carry out this exercise only when we have a vision in our mind. Then the second important aspect is passion. A teacher needs to be passionate because when we try to deliver anything to our students, to our learners, we have to be passionate because unless we motivate the students, unless we command respects from the students, a true teacher cannot, uphold this torch unless he motivates the students, he guides the students, he leads the students. And then the third one is 3H, that is hands-on. So it means making practices times and again, because sometimes what happens that we deliver the content in the class, we try to make the students understand particular concept, but this is a general phenomenon that only 20 to 30% we generally tends to recollect those things, but remaining 70 to 75% goes out of our minds. So therefore, practicing things times and again, doing exercises, engaging the students in the exercises makes the students perfect as far as learning aspect is concerned. Therefore, my request to all of you is, since you all are a teacher or a researchers, So try to apply this concept of 3H in your day-to-day life so that you can motivate, you can lead the researchers, young researchers, students, learners, and direct them to attain a common goal of the institutions. Because we have, different objectives, we have different, purpose, but at the same time, we have a common goal. So in order to achieve that particular or a common goal, we try to reach and we try to accomplish those objectives. And we need to apply this particular concept of 3H to attain the target. Then this is, the time that we need to take up the challenges, because in the present scenario, which is particularly driven by the technology, we need to be very updated, we need to be technology oriented, because disseminating the knowledge among the students, among the researchers through the conventional means is probably, getting relatively, less importance. So with the passage of the time, the changes which are taking place, we need to update ourselves and incorporate and update those changes in our daily life. So, this exercise which has taken place basically carried out by the School of Commerce and Management was aimed to disseminate the research knowledge among the young researchers. Professor Kavaria ji made it very elaborative and very simple that how a researcher can draw the inferences from the data analyzed through the various software which are being used to draw the inferences. So we need to be very, very cautious, because sometimes what happens, and I also come across many times, that these days it has become a buzzword that you collect the data and then you process the data through a particular software and get the result. So unless we identify the nature of the data, we cannot decide how to process the data. So therefore, the identification of nature of data is very, very important as far as the research is concerned. So only after identification, we need to check that what sort of software is required to analyze the data. Sometimes, the data which have been taken from various sources, from the secondary sources, may or may not be reliable. So therefore, the reliability of data is very, very important. So without making the normality of the data, if we try to analyze, we will lead nowhere. So these days, what generally the young researchers are doing, that structure equation modeling. For the last almost 7-8 years, I used to evaluate PhD thesis on various aspects. So even without knowing the assumptions of this software, of this statistical tool without knowing the nature of the data. Applying the structure equation modeling, whether it is a confirmatory factor analysis or exploratory factor analysis, it looks very nice to see the structure and application of the particular software. But if the results are not appropriate, results are not in tune with the objectives, hypothesis of the study, research design of the study, so it becomes useless. So this is what I want to suggest the young researchers, that the research must be in tune with the review of literature. Whether you formulate the hypothesis, whether you formulate your research objectives, whether it is your research design, everything should be in tune with that of your review of literature. You must check it very properly whether the studies which you have reviewed permits you to formulate those hypotheses, whether the studies which you have reviewed permits you to formulate those objectives. Because sometimes I usually come across that students are taking null hypothesis. So now the question is, why not alternative hypothesis? Why only a null hypothesis? So this also must be in tune with the results of the studies which you have reviewed. So therefore, research is useful only when it is taken in the right spirit. If the basic principles of the research are followed, only then we can conclude with the potential results. So this is what I want to share with you all. And then another aspect which I want to share with you all is that after analyzing the data, we end up with the results. Now again the question arises that the results which we have obtained from the analysis are in tune with the objectives and hypothesis which we have formulated. Because simply collecting the data, processing the data and getting the results out of it is not said to be a proper research. Unless the researcher connect, and unless the researcher try to align the results of the studies with the results of the earlier studies, previous studies which he has reviewed, then we try to see that to what extent the results are in confirmatory with the results of the existing studies or not. Then you try to draw and you try to see that how your study can be meaningful for the various stakeholders of the societies, maybe the researchers, maybe the investors, maybe the government. So this is something, a very bit of what I know about research I shared with you all. So with this, I once again extend my sincere gratitude to the organizers, to the Honorable Vice Chancellor, to the Dean, School of Commerce and Management, to the head of the department, to the organizer, convener, co-convener, and finally the research scholars, finally the delegates who made it possible that the research workshop which was carried out for a special purpose was concluded with the objective to achieve that particular common objective, common goal. With this, I thanks to all of you. And with this, I once again congratulate you all for doing this great academic cause for the betterment of the society, for the betterment of our academic domain. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thanks a lot, Registrar Sir, Professor Sunil Gupta ji, for enlightening all of us and telling us about the H. And it is really good that he has summarized whatever we have did in the last 5 days, from the identification of the problem till the finalization of a report with the fulfilling the research ethics as well. So here I would like to tell you again that how did this workshop shaped out? Actually, we run econometric club in the Department of Economics. Actually, we are the department which are research, which is one of the research-oriented departments of the university. So due to the COVID pandemic, we could not run it properly. Therefore, it was in mind how to start it again. So therefore, we thought about planning of this exercise, this workshop, and ultimately we decided that who can be better than Professor Gavadia, who has introduced econometrics in Madhya Pradesh as one of the optional subject in the master's program. He has introduced in one more states to this subject to be taught in the master's program, because in early days, I mean 25 years back, econometrics was not being considered as a subject of economics because it was highly mathematical in nature. But Kavadia sir introduced in our university. I mean, I belong to Devi Ahilya University. He introduced this in Jabalpur University, Rani Durgavati University. So we decided to call him and requested him, and he agreed that he will be able, despite of his various busy schedules and health issue as well. So I would like to call Professor Gaudia sir to address us. Please.
ईश्वर करे कभी नहीं भरे. So, learned registrar of the university, Dean School of Commerce and Management, a very energetic head, Department of Economics, all colleagues, and of course, Sao is my student, and lovely participants. I was expecting that I will get some feedback what I did for last 5 years in the validity function. But again, you are asking me, so I am giving you the feedback about my participants. So, sir, I'm really very impressed the way this the entire workshop was organized. A wonderful combination of the concept, theory, and then estimation part. Otherwise, most of the times, either they go for the concept, no estimation part, or sometimes they go only for estimation part, no concept part. And I'm really very impressed that there are many students not from economic side, but all 5 days they sincerely attending, raising question. It shows that they are a very good, sincere researcher. Even I observed when we were taking some walk in the evening, some students, participants met me and they have expressed that they are students of the first semester, but have a lot of curiosity about econometrics. So it seems that we are marketing the econometrics very well. And the best task of the teacher is to motivate the student to read something. The task of the teacher is not to taught everything. No, impossible. The task of the teacher is to motivate the student to read their subject. And if you are able to motivate, then your target is achieved. So I'm happy that the participants and even the teachers are very sincere. All 5 days, the teachers were sitting here and they are attending. So earlier I was in the impression that these teachers are monitoring the students, whether they are attending sincerely or not. But then I observed that when they raised the question about the many issues in the econometrics, it seems that they are as one of the participants of the program. Econometrics nowadays is very, very important. Without econometrics, thinking of a good research in economics, commerce, or even management is almost difficult. And that's why the Sahu very rightly pointed out that when we started Master in Business Economics in 1991, we made econometrics as a compulsory paper, not optional. Because if you want to do the marketing research and if you have huge data, you are not able to analyze the data, then there is no use of that. And now in 2019-17, all universities have introduced a program on data analytics. And that data analytics is nothing but the application of economics. And all these companies have huge, huge database, how to interpret the data in order to convert their potential customer into the real customer is the basic task. All the financial market, financial econometrics, all they are very important branch of economics. So I'm very impressed the way department is doing, motivating, and very rightly highlighted that the focus of the department is completely to make the research-oriented department, not the degree-giving department, but research. Every student should be thinking-oriented, thinking, why. He should be with the why, what, and how. ये क्यों हो रहा है, ये चीज आनी चाहिए. And if you are able to do that part, then definitely now even the Modi Sarkar or the new national education policy, all schemes, they are motivating the students for research. Without research, it is almost impossible to serve 140 crore population of the country. If you want to improve the quality of life of this population, research innovation is only. And therefore, whenever you read, do anything, you should be innovative. You should be innovative. Why we are reading Adam Smith? Innovative. Think something new, you will get the direction for the solution of the current issues. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to address the after retirement. If somebody is asking me to deliver a workshop, conduct a workshop for 5 days, means something is there, still energy. So I'm thankful to Sahu and the entire team of the head of the department and participants so sincerely in so hot summer they are attending this participant and attending workshop on econometrics. Attending workshop is not a news, not important. Attending a workshop on econometrics, that too in the hot summer, is really remarkable. So salute to all students, participants, the wonderful task. And I wish you all the best कि बहुत अच्छा रिसर्च करें और जब कभी कोई अच्छा रिसर्च आपका बने तो मुझे भी भेजिएगा. I will be more happy to learn that what we did here. So that is very all. And I also extend my sincere thanks to the organizer for extending wonderful hospitality here in the campus, even though it is hot campus, but we were very comfortable and we enjoyed our trip. Thank you so much.
Thanks, sir. We will definitely strive hard to meet your expectations. And one thing I would like to announce here, I take this privilege that we are planning to continue this series, this workshop in the form of series. So initially we have the planning once in a year, but I think that we should have it twice in a year so that we can make it a legacy of the department. So this is what is our aim behind starting this workshop, Econometrics for Research in Economics. So this will be a continuous phenomena in coming future, and I expect that these researchers, these young minds, these young students will participate in coming future as well. So I would like to request any of the participants who want to give their experience here. How did they feel about any one of you? Any one of you, please come here and share your experience. That how did you feel? Just introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, all of you. Myself, Anu Mahiwal from Indira Gandhi University. It was very informative workshop, sir. और मैंने इससे जो मेरा practical knowledge है वो improve किया है. So thank you Ganesh sir, thank you Sahu sir, thank you ma'am, thank you sir.
Next, any boy? पहले अपना परिचय था, ठीक है.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Abhishek Kumar Jila. I am from Central University of Rajasthan. I came here for the meet Ganesh sir, respected Ganesh sir. They teach a lot us. हमने यहाँ पे आके बहुत कुछ सीखा है, जाना है और पहचाना है. मैंने कभी स्टेटा यूज नहीं किया था. I'm from strategy department, but I didn't use स्टेटा. But मेरे को इंग्लिश नहीं आती, लेकिन फिर भी मुझे दिक्कत. तो मैं यहाँ आके मैंने एटलीस्ट स्टेटा और सीख के गया हूँ. तो थैंक यू वेरी मच सर, थैंक यू.
Sir, we are running this workshop in blended mode actually, because we are afraid that because of this hot summer and in the perspective of COVID, whether we will be able to gather the good chunk of student or not. So having that fear in mind and an opportunity to use the online platform to propagate ourselves, to be visible in the rest of the part in the world of computers and internet. So if anybody available online and want to give his or her view on our workshop, he or she is welcome. Any one of you? Hello.
Good afternoon, sir. May I?
Yes, please. Please introduce first yourself.
Very good afternoon, everyone. I am Mahima Kathuria. It was one of the most enjoyable and informative session or workshop we can say which I've ever attended. I would like to thank the resource person for clarifying the concepts of econometrics and also enhancing our knowledge base as well as our skills for the software knowledges. And I would like to extend the thanks to Central University of Haryana and team for conducting such an insightful session and for cooperating and for coming up with such a workshop. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mahima. You also want to come? Yes, please.
Hi, sir. Can I say something?
Yes, please introduce first yourself, then please come.
Hi, my name is Akanksha. I'm from Guru Jambheshwar University of Science and Technology. I'd like to say that this workshop was very insightful, very helpful, and I'd like to thank the Economics Department of Central University of Haryana. Also, my heartfelt thanks to Professor Ranjan, Professor Ganesh, Dr. Sahu, Dr. Anurag, and Dr. Kapil. I learned a lot of things today from research and its implementation to theory of econometrics, and it was really helpful that I also got to learn about Stata and R. So thanks a lot for the session, and I'm looking forward to more such workshops. Thank you.
Please. Thank you, Akanksha.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Arjun from Indira Gandhi University, PhD scholar in Management Department. Firstly, I thankful for the expert, sir, because in econometrics we are not aware about the base of the econometrics, like what is the beta 1 and intercept. Conduct a models on the SPSS, maybe on Stata, and actually conclude the results. But we have no aware about the terms and the concept of that model behind that. So in these sessions, every sessions, we have clear about the concepts of the models, like what is the slope, what is the intercept, what is the R square value, and what is the how to interpret the result from that models. So this is very beautiful, and that's other things is the hospitality is very good by the Department of Economics, and mainly in the online mode. Very times that disconnection is the main problem. In the COVID era, I have attended many workshops on the online mode, but many times the internet connection are disconnected, and also we have not interest to join that, है ना, side phone में रखा, and then workshop is continued. But in the offline mode, we have the compulsory to attend and interact with the experts and raise the questionings. And mainly thanks to IT department also, है ना, because every workshop not conducted without the IT department. The technology is an important role play in everything. So thank you all of you.
Professor Gaudia, sir, may I trouble you once more, because I would like to distribute the certificate to the participants through your pious hands. I also request Registrar sir to be on the dais so that we can distribute the certificate to the participants. It will be really a memorable moment for them if they will have the photograph. I request Amit to take the photograph of everyone. सबका फोटो लेना, ठीक है? सत्यजीत मलिक, प्लीज सर लेके आओ, आप भी आ जाओ ना सर. यहाँ चले जाओ, यहाँ खड़े हो जाओ, मैं देता जाऊँ. सत्यजीत मलिक, आ जाओ, जल्दी आ. मीरा एम, सैमुल पी सनी, इरफाना, यशवंत सिंह, ताली बजाओ भाई. सिबादीप, राकेश कृष्णन, अनुभव मिश्रा, कहाँ चले गए अभी? अंकित कुमार, क्या अरेंज किया तुमने? पवित्र सरकार, राहुल शर्मा, जतिन पासी, प्रेमानंद बोरो, अखिलेश मीना, सुचेता, नैन्सी, मधु, संगीता, अरे इधर, सॉरी, अविनाश मेहरा, मोहित सैनी, मनीषा, सुधीर, प्रवीण रंगा, अन्नू, अन्नू, शंकर बेहरा, शाहिद पी, मोनिका, आदित्य जमवाल, कीर्ति, अविनाश, अविनाश, केवल अविनाश, महेंद्र यादव, मोहित फोगाट, मोहित तो देना, इसका आ रहा है, इसी को ले तू खुद ही ले जाना वहां से।
सर के पास सर के पास है
वापस दे मेरे, वापस दे, वापस दे। हाँ हाँ, कोई दिक्कत, कोई दिक्कत। आते जाइए, जिसका नहीं हुआ प्लीज ले लीजिए। आपका ही मुझे दे दो, मुझे ठीक दे दो। प्लीज कम। हाँ
आओ बेटा, फर्स्ट बिना उसका
अच्छा। हाँ हाँ ठीक है, इसको यही रख लो, ये खाली है।
नाम चेक कर लेना
बाद में तुम्हारा तो नाम ही नहीं है। अभी दे देंगे आप। क्या नाम है? सुमित। हाँ, अर्जुन को तो तुम जानते हो ना, अर्जुन से यादव नहीं जानते, वो वही बैठा। अभी दे देंगे वैसे, है ना? हो गया, मिल गया तुम्हारा ही है। मिल जाएगा, अभी अभी बैठो। हमारा अनिकेत है, अनिकेत तो करो। मोनिका को देना, मोनिका है, दे दो।
दीपक तू भी आ जा.
अच्छा, ये तो अंकित कुमार है. अंकित हमारा ये गलत तो नहीं हो गया? अंकित की अनुभव मिश्रा, राकेश कृष्णन,
कोई और रह गया बेटा?
प्रिया. हाँ हाँ हाँ, राजन का तो मैंने देखा था. बेगारी राजन.
Someone else is there?
मिल जाएगा, बैठो बैठो, मिल जाएगा.
Come.
ये ले लो. ये संजना को ले लो. संजना, हाँ ये ले. अभी रुक जाओ, जस्ट वेट.
हो गया.
दे देंगे बात.
ठीक है.
सर, एक पूरे डिपार्टमेंट का स्पीकर के साथ तो नहीं है.
पूरा
हाँ जी,
दे देंगे अभी रुक जाओ. ले लो वापस सबसे. हाँ सब सारा ले लो. So thanks you all. It was really a very muscular exercise. So now I would like to call our head of the department, Dr. Professor Ranjana Nejaji, to come on the dais to propose the vote of thanks.
बैठ जाओ, 5 मिनट और हैं. अरे Professor Ankeshwar Kumar ji, our Honorable Vice Chancellor in his absentia. Professor Ganesh Kavadia ji, the expert for this workshop from last 5 days. Professor Sunil Kumar ji, the worthy registrar of our university. Professor Anand Sharma ji, Dean, School of Business Management and Studies. My faculty colleagues, department and from Department of Management Studies. It is really a matter of pride for the Department of Economics for organizing this a week long. Manisha, just hold on. आपका ही देंगे certificate. Okay, because it is, real output, वो दिया जाएगा. Okay, somehow. So it is really a matter of pride for the Department of Economics for organizing such event. We all know the last 2 years we have, pandemic scenario, and still we were struggling with the online and offline phenomena. And while, formalizing and planning this, we were also in opinion to have an online or totally offline. So mix system was there. So we reached to the conclusion to have a blended one. And it is really wonderful to have, participants from several institutes, many part of this country. And the good thing is that they all have, participated very enthusiastically and very actively. I remember whenever I'm there, this hall I found full. Normally what happens, morning session people attend it, and in evening session they are, particularly after lunch, they are not as much as eager as compared to the morning. So all the participants were there, and of course without the participant the event cannot be possible. So the task which is assigned to me, that is, to propose a vote of thanks. And in the series, let me first of all extend my heartfelt thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor. Without his leadership, without his direction, without his motivation, I don't think this event maybe, it is totally impossible. So, firstly, I'm thanking to him. And then in the series, let me, a deep honor thanks to our resource person, Professor Ganesh Kavadia, as he's saying that he's retired and 5 years. And as apart from his health issues and, we all understand at this age. And then the COVID is also there and several things are there. And he has spared his valuable time. Sir, on the behalf of entire Department of Economics and Central University of Haryana, we are very highly thankful to you. And I assure you that, under your directions, with your blessings, the department will grow. And already Dr. Sahu has mentioned that department is research centric. And let me add one line here. However, this is not my duty at this point of time because I'm proposing vote of thanks. The Department of Economics is known as highly disciplined department of this university. We never had any, reminder call for any purposes from the university administration. We already received twice 3-star, 2-star ratings. We are among 5 top department and first in social sciences. And the faculties of the department also receiving best research award from last 2 consecutive years. So in the department is in this kind of direction. And I'm sure what we have learned from you, my colleague has learned from you, my student has learned from you, that is going to give more strength, more enrichment to this department. So please accept my great gratitude and heartfelt thanks to you, sir. In the series, let me, welcome first because I think it is the first visit of our worthy Vice Chancellor, worthy Registrar, sorry, to any of the department. So firstly, I welcome him and also very thankful to him. He has accepted, my invitation at very short notice. Yesterday, I went to him and I asked him and I invited him, and he so gracefully accepted my invitation, sir. We are really thankful to you. And your words, what you have shared with particularly 3H of Gandhi, that definitely motivate our student. And of course, your academic administration department will grow more faster, more better. Thank you, sir. Let me also, thanks to our Dean School of Business Management Studies, Professor Anand Sharma, a cool man who is always motivating us, who is always, like a torch bearer, showing us the directions, and he always help us in various academic and other activities. Let me thank you also, sir. And we wish in the future also you keep showing us the right direction, right path. Okay, in the series, let me, thanks to the Dr. Ajit Kumar Sahu, who has actually rooted the idea, who is, day night entirely working, on the concept and on not only the planning, but also he has executed the workshop very wonderfully. And my other 2 colleagues, Dr. Rashmi, Dr. Renu, I can see, because being with the Vice Chancellor office, I could not spare as much time, but they have left no stone unturned to make this event successful. So let me thanks to all of you also. Your efforts are really appreciable, and I wish we have a huge round of applause for these fellows also. In the series, let me thanks to the IT team of the university. This Pankaj, Sanjay, they are continuously working here, sitting here. Although I don't know whether they are getting understanding anything or not, but the duty they are performing, their efforts are also appreciated. Let me also appreciate the PRO of the university and providing the media coverage and other administrative officer, all the supporting staff, Amarjit from the department, and finally, let me congratulate, as also I'm really thankful to the student of my department. Particularly, I can see Deepak and Manisha and many other students. They are Priyanshu, Pratyush, they are, rigorously, entirely working on it. And of course, this thing I have seen in even in several IITs. Actually, events are organized by the students only. And once the student organize the events, that becomes more and successful, because they are full of energy. They understand how to do the licensing and other things. So let me thanks to my students also, the student of the department, and of course the participants, online and offline both. And because without you this event has a no meaning. It was totally impossible, because this is participant make the event successful. And I'm sure during these 5 days you also have learned several things, and you will use these in your future and ongoing research. And perhaps these things are going to give you benefit in all your endeavors. So thank you very much, all the participants. Meanwhile, I forgot thanks to two more important persons. Those were also the resource persons, because we are so, under the, blessings of Professor Kavadiya, we are not looking here and there other else. So we have Dr. Anurag Asawa also from Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics. He is associate professor there. He has also delivered his deliberation. So we are really thankful to him. And we also have Dr. Kapil from Department of Statistics. We are also thankful to him in their absence here. Okay, with these words, I again, my heartfelt thanks to all of them. And if I forget any name, I'm sure you will excuse me and accept my greetings. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Now I request all of you to stand for our national anthem.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा जय हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जय जय मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Let me thank to Dr. Aleka and the entire team of mass communication. I can see the two girls are there. They are very much. Let me tell you what is the Dr. and Dr. Kavadiya done. The mass communication team of this university, they are, we it is possible that we can conduct any program on them. Really, a lot of appreciation. Thank you very much.